this time I didn't fold it in the middle, so it's make the roll a little thinner but much higher, and I hope it's make it easier to get through the door, but it's still 40 kilos or 80 pounds, so now I just have to give it a line or 3 lines. I have something to hold on to. Now there only are the hard work of carrying it into the house again, and I think I'm gonna make the small one first, and it's only because they're lying on the work table, so we're gonna make that afterwards. But it's now actually I can just work with a small table like 4 by 8 feet. I don't need the large table. There's 20 feet long for what I need to do now. So that's make it much easier to work with. Another thing, when I tell how I'm doing the stuff, it's actually only like advice. It's or more. I'm doing this way. I'm quite sure there's other way to do it, and my way is not necessarily the right thing. If you are in another continent or another place and you have access to another fabric or other kind of epoxy or whatever, other engine, other skills and other tools, then maybe another solution is the right one for you. There's another reason why I don't say you should do this or that, like I'm commanding to do it, it's you to do it. It's because when you are building a boat, and if you are building a boat, you probably already know this, there is like a whole army of Mr. Fix-It or Mr. Know-It-All, and that will never gonna work, and they can tell you everything that is not gonna work, but they can quite seldom tell you what is gonna work, and at some point you just don't hear it anymore. You just have a nice day, and if you're building a boat, you've probably met that kind of people. So you don't hear it anymore, and all the things that the people saying you not can do, actually, when you have done it, you stand there. I don't actually understand what the problem is here. A good example on the sail is that the way I have been doing this, it's not possible. You need like a sports, a large gym to do it, and I've done it in a small scout hut, and even the stitches is wrong, and even through we have tested it, and it is not gonna go apart, and the shape is not working, and junk sail cannot sail, and all kind of stuff. And the question is usually, when people say that, you just ask them what kind of junk rig they were sailing with, because usually they have never sailed with a junk rig. And then the line that I've been stitching it together with, when I bought the first 900 meters, or that would be 27,000 feet, then people was just shaking their hands and say, you're never in life gonna use that much. And right now I have been using that amount 3 times. That means 27,000 meters of this line, and still counting. And I'm actually on the number 4 roll of that line, and this afternoon I'm gonna pick 2 more line rolls up, because I cannot get them in the shop next door. I have to get them from like across the country, so they're being mailed to me. And it's just all the small things. I've been welding up my windows in stainless steel with a TIG welder, and when I was asking about the TIG welding, it was like, you're never gonna learn it, and even those who have certificates to weld, when they come from holiday, they need a whole week to learn it again, and all that kinds of nonsense. And it took me 2 days to learn to make a decent weld, and I know it's not beautiful, but it's gonna last. So just do it and close your ears and enjoy the building process. When the Mr. Know-it-all is out of the picture, you usually have a nice time. So, can you feel it? I have to lift that piece up, and it's 40 kilo, and I don't want to lift it, but I have to. So I will gonna do it. So what I'm doing here is I'm making the edge, and I'm measuring 2 inches in from the backside. I have measuring out the backside, and now I'm adding 2 inches, and then I put in this line is 5 millimeters, a little less than a quarter of an inch, and then I fold the fabric 180 degrees back, and then I've been putting 2 lines of this sticky stuff on to fix it while I'm stitching it. This line is actually only lying there for I'm gonna put a 10 millimeter rope all the way around, and it's gonna lie on the outside, and this is just to make the bond between the rope and the sail stronger. So when I stitch the rope to the sail, I go on the back side of this piece, so that it's the rope not pulling in the fabric, but is pulling in this piece of rope. So I'll probably also have to fix it with some stitching, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that. It can also be that when I'm stitching it with a rope, that it's gonna be fixed there. Right now it's glued in with this one, so it'll stay in place. So this is a small sail I'm working on at the moment, and it's actually because it's so small that I didn't need to put rope around it to handle it when I was having it out earlier today. And the big one is so unhandy that it was nice to have some rope around it. So I then finished this one all the way to the end, at least with the edges all the way around. And then I make the other one, so I don't have to take it in and out all the time. So yes, but I will have to do some sewing here. Because I have been doing my measurement on the other side, then I will have to measure it up again. And actually I'm not measuring, because I know this one is 2 inches. So I just put it out here. And lie it straight. Or almost straight. And actually I do it 2 times, because one is for where I have to put this one. That is the point where it's turning 180 degrees around the rope piece. And the other one is where it have to end. And it's easier to put this one on when I have a line to as a guideline. So. And because the sewing here is going all the way out, and I somehow don't think I can fold it, then I just cut in, and so it's only the piece between that has been folding around, and then eventually this other piece is gonna go off. So those 2 inches of this sewing here, I'm actually not decided. Maybe I just also fold that 180 degrees and give it some stitching, but I have not decided yet. For now I just let it be, and then I can correct it later. So now it's nice and easy. It's more important that the edge is coming to the inside line, because the rope will, when it's fixated there at the 2-inch point, then when you are pushing it down, then the rope will find its own place. If you start by pushing it down in by the rope, then I'm not sure you are gonna hit the 2-inch mark. So it's better, the rope will find its own place if you're going to the 2-inch mark. And this sticky stuff here is I'm very impressed with it, but it's not a mount and forget product. You need to be aware that, because the fabric is so stiff, and that it might be glue too, but because there are so much tension in the fabric when it's been folded and it's still stiff, then it might delaminate again. So you have to be aware of that. But it saves a lot of time by putting needles in, or maybe make some hand sewing to keep it fixated. So I think it's worth the trouble, but it's a product where you need to have your eye on the thing. You cannot just sit down and just run the sewing machine like a Formula 1 car. You need to see what's going on. Yes, so that was the next panel. So I just have to run up and down a couple of times, and then the next one, and so on. But I think you get the impression of how I'm doing it. So